Hello guys, we're in group 2 of Organizational Behavior class. Today we will discuss chapter 2, which is diversity in the organizations. And my name is V, and I will talk to you about the two major forms of workplace diversity and demonstrate how workplace discrimination undermines the organizational effectiveness. So first, let's talk about diversity. Now, what does diversity mean to you? So we often hear the term diversity discussed in our everyday usage. Usually when we come across the term, it is in the context of having a mix of gender, race, ethnic, sexual orientations, and etc. in a setting wherein there is no discrimination based on these traits. And what is diversity in the workplace? So diversity in the workplace refers to a variety of differences between individuals in an organization. The diversity not only includes how individuals identify themselves, but also how others perceive them. So diversity within a workplace encompasses the race, the gender, ethnic groups, age, religions, sexual orientation, citizenship status, military service, mental and physical conditions, and as well as other distinct differences between people. Next is the importance of diversity. So let me ask you a question. Why do you think an individual is recruited? Is it because they are qualified enough to do justice to a particular role? Or they belong to a religion that you belong to? The answer is very simple. Obviously, an individual is hired because the company feels that they can contribute to their level best towards achieving the organizational goals. Discriminating someone on the basis of their religions, their background, or community at workplace is absolutely unethical. Let us go through the benefits of organizational diversity. The first and foremost benefit is individuals get to learn lots of things from each other. You get to know about each other's religions, community, and also get an opportunity to gain from each other's expertise. Alright, you might not know everything which probably someone associated with the organization for quite some time would know. It is very foolish to underestimate anyone. For example, Organization A had individuals who were more than 40 years of age and in the system for the last 10 years. And the management did not like the idea of recruiting new and young people. In due course of time, the older people could not cope up with the changing technologies and failed to survive the challenging times. And the organization A eventually suffered from the great losses and had to be shut down. An organization B, on the other hand, believed in the concept of organizational diversity and had individuals of all age groups, work experiences, and qualifications striving for a common goal. And the young talents are generally little keener on upgrading their knowledge as compared to the older people on the verge of retirement. And during the tough times, the organization B gained not only from the experiences of the older people, but also the young lot who faced challenges with a smile and encouraged others to stay calm and patient. Move to the next point. So now, what is the problem in recruiting the female employees? Why are they denied top-level positions? Just because they are a little sensitive? Trust me, no one would buy this logic in the today's professional world. It is a high time when male employees start taking their female counterparts seriously and provide them their due credit. Anyone who has the talent and passion to make it big in the professional world ought to get an opportunity to showcase his or her talent. An organizational diversity goes a long way in exposing individuals to a varied cultures and traditions. It gives you a chance to know about other festivals and how they are being celebrated by other religions. Believe me, during the festival seasons, everyone loves to bring gifts from home, and it is like a big party in the workplace. And an organizational diversity not only brings employees closer to each other, but also strengthens the bond among themselves. Employees feel happy and motivated when they are celebrate different festivals together. This certainly also reflects in their work when they are readily help each other and rarely indulge in unnecessary conflict and solve the other issues among themselves. Individuals from different backgrounds and experiences can also sit together. They can brainstorm ideas and reach to a better solution benefiting the organization. Let's go to the next slide, the level of diversity. So the key point of diversity in the workplace is that there are different types of diversity, but they can be broadly placed into two buckets: the surface level diversity and the deep level diversity. Traditionally, the diversity has focused on easily observable. The surface level diversity represents all the characteristics of individuals that are readily visible. They can include the age, body size, visible disabilities, the race, and the sex. In contrast, the deep level diversity focuses on traits that are non-observable, such as attitude, values, and beliefs. Alright, to understand the differences between this diversity, consider an example. So now we have A and B. Alright, they are the managers who seem to have little in common. So A is a recently hired male from a Spanish-speaking neighborhood in Miami with a business degree. And B is an older woman from a rural place who started as a customer service trainee after high school and worked her way up. At first, this worker may notice their surface level differences in education, in ethnicity, in their regional background and gender. But however, as they get to know more about each other, they find they both deeply committed to their family, and they share a common ways of thinking and also important work problems. So these deep level similarities can overshadow the more differences between them, and then the research suggests that they will work very well together. So now you have a better understanding of diversity in the workplace. So let's talk more about discrimination. So in your opinion, what is discrimination? Discrimination means that treating a person unfairly because of who they are, or because they possess the certain characteristic. Alright, and workplace discrimination occurs when an individual is discriminated against due to a number of factors. Discrimination can come in many forms and they can affect anyone within an organization. So we have age, gender, race, ethnicity, skin color, national origins, mental or physical disability, genetic information, and relationship to someone who may be discriminated against, and last but not least, pregnancy or parenthood. Let me give you some examples of employment discrimination. So it could occur in any number of situations, including stating or suggesting the preferred candidate in a job advertisement, excluding potential employees during the recruitment, denying the certain employees compensation or benefits, paying equally qualified employees in the same position different salaries, discriminating when assigning disability leave, maternity leave, or retirement options, denying or disrupting the use of company facility, and discrimination when issuing promotions or layoffs. So here are some statistics. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, as we call EEOC, reported the following breakdown for the charges of the workplace discrimination that were received by an agency in 2018. The fiscal year 2018 data show that a retaliation, which is 51.6% of all charges filed, continue to be the most frequently filed charges with the agency. And then followed by sex, disability, and race, which are 32.2%. The chart numbers show the following breakdowns in the descending order, and these percentages add up to more than 100 because some judges allege multiple bases, and you can see on the slide. Alright, so now we move on to the stereotype. So in your opinion, what is it? So stereotyping is something that we do daily, even if you don't even realize it. Okay, so stereotypes are the characteristics imposed upon groups of people because of their race, nationality, and sexual orientation. And how about the stereotype threat? What is it then? Alright, so it occurs in a situation where there are an expectation that one may be judged on the basis of social group membership, and there is a negative stereotype about one's social identifying group. Okay, so now look at the picture. So basically, for example, let us use the gender stereotype where girls study better than boys. Now, if you are a boy, this has a negative impact on your performance, right? Because you believe that the girls next to you are going to score higher than you. Moreover, this also applies to other groups, like a student who come from a higher income or a lower income families who are taught to get a better jobs. So for example, this forced the student from a lower income group to settle for less because he or she believes that he or she is going to get. Alright, and moreover, female chess players perform worse than the male chess players when they are aware that they are playing against the male opponent. When they are led to believe that they are playing against another woman, they perform just as well as the male players. That's weird, right? And thus, these accumulated findings establish that an individual's performance can be harmed by an awareness that he or she may be judged on the basis of negative stereotypes. This has been found to be the case regardless of whether the individual believes the stereotype is true or regardless of the accuracy of the stereotypes. Last but not least, let's talk about managing diversity. Alright, so diversity management are ways in which organizations seek to ensure that members of the diverse groups are valued and treated fairly within the organization. So how about the role of management in managing organizational diversity? So organizational diversity enables individuals from a diverse backgrounds, religions, communities, age groups, experiences, educational qualifications, and so on to work on a common platform, striving hard towards achieving the goals and objectives for an organization within the shortest possible time frame. Alright, so the management plays an essential role in managing organizational diversity. Alright, so let's talk about it. So first, managing diversity means acknowledging people's differences and recognizing these differences as valuable. It enhances good management practices by preventing discrimination and promoting inclusiveness. Alright, so please remember an organization does not always need experienced people, but also new and young people, right? Because they have a passion for innovation and they can accept challenges and do not neglect someone just because he or she is new to the industry. You never know when he or she can come up with a wonderful idea which would benefit not only the team but also the entire organization. Come to the next point, the managing diversity also means creating a corporate environment where women, blacks, and other non-traditional employees can flourish. Alright, and diversity itself can be a source of strength. You really need to take a good care of your female employees to promote a healthy work culture and ensure that your male employees are not misbehave with their female counterparts, and if they do so, you need to take a strict action immediately. Alright, and do not ask your female employees to work till late unless and until there is an emergency and you have a deadline to follow. And if you have asked them to do so, make sure that you arrange a cab or a taxi to drop them home. Okay, don't leave them alone at work. Alright, and ask your administration department to make a proper arrangement for them if they need to travel out of the city. And next one, you do celebrate all the festivals and enjoy them to the fullest. Okay, you do not ignore someone just because he or she does not belong to your religion. And believe me, individuals who do not have no right to be a part of the system. Okay, and hence all individuals need to be treated equally and make them feel important. Do not make separate policies for them, and please remember, even they have the right to enjoy the company's benefit the way others do. Okay?
Hello everyone, my name is Nhi and I'll continue with the biographical characteristics. Before going to the details, let me introduce to you guys about the meaning of this term. So why we have to gain insights about this definition? Because these factors are the basic of discrimination in the workforce. Therefore, to boost productivity to the maximum, we need to know how related they actually are to the work outcomes. By theory, biographical characteristics are the personal characteristics, for example, like age, gender, race, length of tenure, etc., which are objective and easily obtained from personnel records. These characteristics are representative of surface level diversity. In other words, these characteristics are data variations in surface level which can easily be obtained and definable. There are many factors influencing on discrimination at work. But in this presentation, I will point out 5 main elements, which are age, sex, race and ethnic, disabilities, and the last one is hidden disabilities. Okay, the first mention is about the aging in the workforce. There's no doubt that this is an increasing issue in the next decade. In 10 years from 2006 to 2016, there are 96% of growth in labor force comes from employees over the age of 52. This recently happened in even developed countries such as the US. The number of US about this situation is 22% and increasing. Governments of these countries have to enforce laws against aging discrimination to ensure the productivity and delay retirement, especially early retirement. Although age discrimination is not shown clearly in the labor force, it cannot be denied that age influences on all levels of aging in the workforce. I'll point out for you some evidences. About the young workers, they are open-minded, high flexibility, high self-motivation to new technologies. This is quite easy to understand, right? However, getting approached to modern society from the young age cause them psychological problems as well as day-to-day physical health problems, for example, like insomnia. They are also more likely to quit jobs and find different opportunities, which raises turnover rates, and this is definitely not good for organizations. So, what about the old workers? Contrary to the youngsters, despite their low adaptability and low motivation with new technologies, experienced old workers have high loyalty to their employers, low turnover rates, and high satisfaction at work. This is because due to their age, sometimes at work they can be grumpy or inflexible, which obstructs them from finding new jobs, but it helps them to be specialized, skilled employees. However, thanks to this kind of stability, old workers are welcomed by healthcare, education, government, and non-profit organizations. To sum up, in spite of differences and pros and cons that young and old workers brings, there's no discrimination founded in surface level workforce. Additionally, age diverse is beneficial. The next topic I would like to mention is sex. Gender discrimination is not a new issue in our society, but fortunately, this problem has been much less severe. For example, in job performance, men are usually good at mathematical stuffs when women tend to have high verbal ability. But it doesn't mean that they know nothing about the opponent's maturity. They have equal skills at problem solving, analytical, and learning. This has been proved in an experiment held by 95 leaders of two genders. However, sex discrimination still remains a pervasive negative impact. For the same positions, women receive much lower income than men, even in traditional female roles like housework or makeup. It may sound unequal, but it really exists in our modern society. An experiment has been held like this. In a company, to raise funds, experienced managers have given male workers doubled than the female employees. Working mothers also don't have promoting opportunities for higher positions, although we all know that taking care of their families are important roles of both two genders. So I think this discrimination is so ruthless to women. Fortunately, many countries like the US, UK, Australia have laws against sex discriminations and protect female from inequalities. Other countries like Belgium, France, Norway, Spain encourage women to join board of directors. This issue is going to take much time to end, but I think it's improving a lot. Okay, let's move to the next topic, which is race and ethnic. Race is a controversial issue in society and organizations. But first, let's define these two terms. Race is the heritage people use to identify themselves. Ethnicity is the additional set of cultural characteristics that often overlaps with race. Both classifications have been shown to be relevant to unfairness at workplace, performance evaluations, pay, and workplace discriminations. In details, people tend to refer others in the same race to promote, to raise the paying, etc. This kind of discrimination appears strongly in the US, when the blacks receive much lower ratings in the job interviews than the whites. Also, lower performances ratings, lower incomes, and of course, fewer promotions. One more example to show how discriminated African victims have to suffer is that an African with no scandal, no crimes in his history, still can't get jobs as much as a white American with criminal records. It is ridiculous when Americans from different races and ethnicities in the US still have to suffer this, while the US are one of 3 first countries enforced laws against this discrimination. The fourth part is about disabled people who have physical or mental problems. For example, some recognized disabilities are missing limbs, seizure disorder, Down syndrome, deafness, etc. They are vulnerable class and protected by laws in some countries like the US, UK, Australia, and Japan. For example, these laws have employers make reasonable accommodations so that their workplace will be more accessible to individuals with physical or mental disabilities. However, people with disabilities cannot easily to be employed like people with standard health quality due to some specific characteristics of some particular jobs. But once being accepted, they will receive much higher job performance evaluation than normal ones because of the efforts they have paid. The last one I want to introduce to you is the hidden disabilities or invisible disabilities. This factor sounds quite strange, right? We usually think disabilities often consist of like missing limbs, wheelchairs, blindness, etc. But in this situation, exactly with the word hidden, this kind of disability are not clear to see. It belongs to the categories of sensory disabilities, chronic illness or pain, learning impairments, sleep disorders like insomnia, and psychological challenges like PTSD. Recently, changes have been made to Americans with Disabilities Act amendments, or you can know it as ADAA. U.S. organizations have accommodated employees with a very broad range of impairments. However, employees need to disclose the discrimination gap by increasing connection among organizations to understand each other's problems, as disclosures helps in job satisfaction increase and reach employment protection and job performance. So, this is the end of the part biographical characteristics. If you have any questions, just ask me. And if you don't, let's move to the next part.
Hello everyone, I'm Ngan, and in the presentations, I will demonstrate the relevance of abilities to organizational behavior. Well, we all know that everyone has different strengths and weaknesses to do tasks or activities which are the manager give, but this is also the challenge to the manager to decide who are the right person to do that jobs. That's why we need to understand the abilities of employees. For more clearly, ability means an individual capacity to perform the various tasks in the job. Overall, abilities are essentially made up of two sets of factors. The first is intellectual and the second is physical. We will start with intellectual abilities, which are ability needed to perform mental activities such as thinking, reasoning, problem solving. Basically, it's talk about the abilities of the brain. In reality, smart people will have a high education and good income. For instance, doctor, professor, or businessman. Additionally, to assess and measure intellectual ability, we based on the result of IQ test. Or SAT and ACTs, they are typically taken by high school junior and senior. There are also an entrance exam used by most colleges and universities to make admission decisions. Moreover, some other tests such as graduate management admission test, the law school admission test, the medical college admission test. In addition, there are 7 dimensions making up intellectual ability, include number aptitudes, which is the ability to do speedy and accurate arithmetic, needed for an accountant or officer. The second is verbal comprehensions that show the ability to understand what is read or hear and the relationships to each other. And plant manager who follow corporate policies on hiring in one job example. The third is perceptual speak, the ability needed for fine investigator because they must identify visual similarities and differences quickly and accurately. Next is inductive reasoning, to problem solving logically. For example, market research. After that is deductive reasoning abilities by using logic and assess. Supervisor and director is a person to do that work very well. The sixth is the spatial visualizations, illustrate people have a good imagination, such as interior decoration. The last one in 7 dimensions is remember.
This is the capacity to you that we use when we have been a student. Therefore, we have a state of general mental ability, include scales that measure on conduct. However, different in culture, education, and economic will affect intellectual ability. And here is an amazing game show that is Super Brain Vietnam. And it's a Vietnam scientific reality and talent show originating in Germany. The show aims is to find people with exceptional brain power. This show is produced under Edmond and has been shown to multiple countries in Europe, China, Russians, and United States today. Some smart people might you have known in siêu trí tuệ Việt Nam like Việt Hoàng, Huy Hoàng, or Gia Hưng. If you haven't seen that show, I hope that after this presentation you can enjoy it. Well, I have told you about intellectual ability. Now we will move on to physical abilities, which are to do the tasks that include 9 basic styles. Although most jobs do not require much of this ability, if you have this strength, then consider employment as a professional athlete, because you will have more money, will be very rich like Ronaldo or Messi, LeBron James. Here are 9 basic styles include strength factors, flexible factor, and some others. The strength factor is shown by 4 small abilities. That is dynamic strength, jump strength, static strength, and explosive strength. Dynamic strength means ability to exert muscular repeated or continuously over time. Jump strength means ability to exert muscular strength using the jump muscle, particularly abdominal. Static strength means ability to exert force against external object. And then explosive strength means ability to expend the maximum energy in one or a series of explosive acts. And the next factor is flexible. We have extend flexible and dynamic flexible. There are the ability that humans can move the trunk and back muscle as far as possible, and able to make rapid, repeated flexing movement. Yoga posture fully demonstrate the property that I have just listed. In order to do that well, I think you will suffer muscle pain for a long time. However, you will have a beautiful body like Uyen. Not only that, but physical ability are also include body coordination, ability to coordinate the simultaneous action of different parts of the body. And then the balance means ability to maintain equilibrium despite for pulling up balance. And the last one is stamina, ability to continue maximum effort requiring prolonged efforts over time. That's all I have to say about the visual abilities.
Okay, so hello guys, I'm Phak from Group 2, and today I'm gonna talk about implementing diversity management strategy. Diversity management is a process intended to create and maintain a positive work environment where the similarities and difference of individuals are valued. The literature on diversity management has mostly emphasized on organization culture, its impact on diversity openness, human resources, management practice, institutional environment, and organizational context to diversity-related pressure, expectation, requirement, and incentive, perceived practice, and organizational outcomes related to managing employee diversity, and several other issues. And at first, we have to know that what manager have to do. They must work to develop strategies, to develop ways to utilize difference to achieve work outcomes. But knowing that people are different is not enough for organization to operate effectively with difference. And how can they do that? They will do it by attracting, selecting, developing, and retaining employees who can operate and excel in a workplace with diverse individuals, viewpoints, and ideas. Diversity can also add in group effectiveness and diminish it. So, organization must provide a tool to leverage the difference to obtain superior performance. And next, what component that effective workforce program encourage diversity? First, they teach manager about the laws they need to follow and equal employment opportunity requirements. Second, they help manager and employees to see that a diverse workforce is better able to serve diverse market. Third, they take into account personal difference and approach the difference as strength that can be utilized to enhance performance. And to compete in a marketplace experiencing significant demographic change, business must develop and implement a diversity management strategy to attract and retain the best global talent. But what is the best practice to do so? Okay, so as a management practice, however, it involves much more than just a set of human resource policies. Diversity management is about the culture of the organization and the source of its strategic thinking. And in a world where globalization has brought a diverse set of customers to companies that previously dealt with a homogeneous customer base, and in a world where innovation is one of the key competitive advantage, composing a diverse workforce has become a necessity. Is there any bigger killer of innovation than people with the same way of thinking? Okay, just because diversity is hard to implement, despite the importance, diversity strategy are difficult to implement once in a place. They often do not deliver the benefit they promise. So one reason is definitely the attitude of the company. Diversity programs are likely to fail if they are set up because it is perceived to be the right thing to do without reflecting a true commitment to creating a work environment that fosters the best workforce. The other thing is that many companies underestimate the time and effort required to implement such strategy. Rather than working towards integrating diversity into the organization's strategy and or human resource activities, companies often see it as just another standalone project. And finally, large companies especially often fail to address the more hardwired aspects such as management style, hierarchy, and culture. Because of that, the implementation often fails. How to work around this? And best practice experience suggests at least 5 crucial steps when implementing a successful and lasting diversity strategy. There's listed below. The first, involve the entire top management team. The senior leadership must be involved and visible throughout the whole diversity project. Visionary speech have little impact alone. The CEO and other senior leaders should be visible at workshop, training programs, and during question and answer session on diversity. An important first step in showing the way is also to implement diversity at top management level. The second is to adapt the organizational structure. The organizational structure must support the diversity effort. This can be done by creating a diversity office and appointing a chief diversity officer, is known as CDO. If the organizational structure supports the diversity offers, it is more likely to be taken serious across the whole business. And the third, communicate about initiative on continuous basis. Communicating about why diversity is crucial for the success of your business is highly important. The communication must be plentiful and include variety of channels such as social media, newsletter, intranet, seminars, meeting, poster, and so on. And the fourth, create a formal project plan. We can create a formal project plan to support the diversity strategy with measurable objective that's integrated with the rest of the company's strategic objective and operation. And during the years, various research has shown that if such project is not carefully planned in advance using tests and robust process, critical element will not receive the proper attention. And such project plans should take into consideration the length of time taken to cultivate a mindset that acknowledges that diversity is part of the overall strategy. The project should also include a performance evaluation program that functions as an accountability mechanism. And the final, change or human resource initiative to include diversity. A company should consider how it can reach a wider talent pool by initiative such as the board in the next slide. It's communicating why you are targeting diverse employee and encouraging employee referral, rewarding, establishing, advertising, interviewing, pay special attention, retention program, and development. Next is about 7 steps to effective diversity management by Julie B. Kempf. Firstly, I will mention a bit about her. Julie B. Kempf is CEO and President of GBK Associates Inc., an award-winning executive talent solution firm that focuses on bringing diverse senior executives to companies across a wide spectrum of discipline and industry. GBK Associates has been recognized by Forbes, the American Business Award, and Working Mother magazine, among others, is a certified woman-owned business, WBENC, and member of the UN Global Compact. And diversity was regarded as a matter of employment equity or affirmative action, an idea now is outmoded as cassette tape. In today's world, a diverse workforce is widely regarded as a key business imperative and should be incorporated into every organization's strategy. A diverse workforce can deliver better decision making, better product and service, a happier customer, increased productivity, and a better bottom line. And according to Fortune magazine, companies that enjoy a diverse and inclusive culture outperform the S&P 500. In 1996, there are fewer than 10 executives nationwide responsible for diversity. Today, almost every Fortune 100 company has one. However, survey consistently report that diversity management is not well understood. Successful diversity management is about unleashing the rich and diverse potential of an entire workforce. Here are 7 steps to build a better diversity strategy. First step is about define your terms. Everyone has a different idea about what diversity means. Beyond race and gender, it can also include, but it is not limited to consideration of age, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, mental, physical capability, gender identity, family status, language, opinion, and working style. Define diversity for your organization as there is no one-size-fits-all solution. The second step is be realistic. When setting goals, involve everyone who has a responsibility for diversity, from the CEO. The CEO on down as buy-in is critical, but also manage their expectation. Diversity management is complex, and not every company will advance at the same price. And the third is building metrics. Diversity management should measure progress towards specific, quantifiable long and short-term goals. The fourth, assemble your resources. You can achieve your goal as a company if you don't have the right human or physical resources in place. Just by saying you want to become a diverse organization doesn't guarantee that you will get there. And they are saying successful diversity management is about unleashing the rich and diverse potential of an entire workforce. Set up a system. Talent acquisition is about attracting the best talent from a pool of outstanding individuals of diverse background. Once you have attracted the talent, you must enable them to become parts of the established culture of your organization. Next is about educate. Everyone needs to be trained. Managers must be educated about the benefit of the diversity and the processes necessary to achieve it. Employees must be given the coaching, mentoring, and skill they need. Without training, you risk losing your best talent to your competitors. Final is the demonstrate CEO support. Employees take their cues from the top, so your most senior executive must be able to articulate the business case for diversity. Diversity is the creation of an organizational culture where the best people want to work, when everyone is treated with dignity and respect, where people are promoted on their merit, and where opportunity for success are available to all. Embedding the principle of diversity management in everything helps in achieving your company's ambitious business goals. Thank you for your listening.
Of organizational behavior class. And my name is Minh. Today I'm going to in charge of the summary part of our group's presentation. In order to make it easier to understanding and remembering all of the knowledge of the chapters, I'm going to conduct questions, big questions, and let's call it the questions. The question is why the diversity of an organization holds such crucial value of forming a workplace, and how we apply to realize significant points of the chapters and facts that follow that could help you answering the first questions, why? Okay, first, stereotypes should only be considered as reference. Indeed, stereotypes are based on multiple research on demographic studying, but overusing it could lead to unwanted outcomes in one's life. For example, their relationship, their career, their safety, and they could even harm others in multiple aspects, both physically and mentally. And plus, there are tons of explicit documents proof that discrimination behavior are against society etiquette, policies, and laws, and it must be excluded. Surface level disabilities-based judgments does not give exact results and sometimes contradicts the deep level diversity-based judgments. As we have mentioned above, surface level diversity shows different characteristics which are easily perceived. Gender, age, disabilities, races, etc. also activates a certain stereotype. Individuals' values, personalities are not included. We cannot judge people only based on their appearance. It's like judge a book by its covers. And it's wrong. Human is related to the situation also. We, us, human, the highest intelligent species. Apparently, appearance is not all we have. We trust our instinct, intuition, and feelings about somebody before we decided how to treat them. And this comes to the fields of acknowledging the deep level diversity, a much more advanced and precise ways of evaluating somebody by considering their feelings, their personalities, and point of view. Thirdly, it's the importance of understanding diversities. It is the ways of people perceiving, behaving, communicating, their eating styles, their habits, etc. The best beneficial in terms of management. For example, you are about to ask one of your partners in other companies for a business dinner, for like signing contract or something, and it is important that you know some personal information about them, especially their religions, their races, their nationalities. Okay, it's okay if you asking some Vietnamese, some European, young Japanese to a steak restaurant, a beef. But it is totally wrong to ask a Hindu to a steak restaurant. A Hindu in Indian religions, cow is like the god, and eating steak is killing the gods. Here are some of the facts that I found either resolve some of my questions and or adjust my mindset. First, general rule. Many biographical differences are not important to actual work outcomes. You heard it right. Though the differences might cause some other inconveniences, but to the ones who have experience working in a multiple biographical environments. It's like working in a company that's way more prefer females, or working with older people, and or with different races, like different from Western people, some white people and black people. You will find it is not as hard as it may sound. Secondly, we are not equal. Though it may sound controversial, people are born the same. We breathe, we communicate, and we earn the same rights. But our values aren't. The differences are each individual's abilities, their skill sets, and the ways that they react to the opportunities. For example, the actors Jack Gyllenhaal, the famous singers Vũ, and their values in their fields are enormous in comparing to some of us, ordinary students who have no great achievement in our lives. Yeah, that's the differences between our human values. Abilities are categorized in two sets of factors, intellectual and physical. And as a human beings, you will either end up with a preference in one among two, hopefully, or luckily both of them. And one more last thing, though how much and how long we discuss about the efficiency of diverse organization, we just can't deny the fact that it does have a certain enhancement on the work outcomes, the result of work. If not, we are here learning about this, and the companies, the social organizations won't try to evaluate their workforce and their workplace to suit the contemporary tendency of society. And if you wish to maintain and create an effective, diverse organization, we have to focus on developing and understanding the three crucial variables. The first, the abilities. Abilities directly influence employees' performance. Managers need to focus on ability in selection, promotion, and transfer. Fine-tune job to incubate abilities. The next thing is biographical characteristic. It's the age, the sex, the religion, gender, the race, the length of tenure of the employees. This should not and must not be used in management decisions, because it's an extreme source of bias. The last but not least, the diversity programs. Diversity programs must be an ongoing commitment at all levels of the organizations. Policy must include multiple perspectives and be long-term in their orientation to be effective. Diversity management is the application of the organizations to understand of diversities. It is the way that organizations recognize and utilize the differences that will allow them to create a culture that capitalizes on their workforce diversity to be a leader in the marketplace. So this is the end of our presentation, and I hope that through this chapter, all of you are now be able to answer the top question for yourself. And we are very grateful for your listening, and we have also collected some of the sources as reference for who wish to have any further research in this field. And thank you once again. And if you have any questions of these topics, feel free to ask us via our email. I will attach in the PowerPoint, and we will be very happy to answer it. Thank you.